All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co hosts,
Dominic Castillo.
Giovanni.
All right, so we are back. Dom kind of took the joke about being suspended a bit too seriously, as the last time we all recorded an episode was, I believe, September 2nd. Dom just, I think he took it a bit too seriously. He was ashamed of his actions. He was ashamed of cursing so much on that episode that he actually took the 2-week suspension.
My apologies. It's been pretty heavy with work and with school. But in an optimistic view, to anyone who's listening who might be like behind on some episodes, this gives them time to catch up. So you got to think about that.
Not really, dude. Like Jack has been going crazy with the wrestling. We got the K-pop one too.
I put out 2 sports ones.
There's no excuses, Dominic.
Okay, yeah, it is my fault.
Hard in the paint.
Yeah. Wait, what happened?
No, I said we've been going hard in the paint. But Dom, do enlighten the listeners as to why you've been absent.
Okay. So, for me, a week ago, I was assigned to work at the Rose Bowl. For those who don't know, the Rose Bowl is the home stadium for the UCLA football team, and for any other general concerts. However, I didn't know I was meant to be working there, and for the days we were meant to be recording, I had days working over there, which was kind of a surprise to me because this sort of gig for supporting roles from the crypto arena to the Rose Bowl was meant for like more veteran workers, like people who've been working for like a year or two, or and more. However, they gave it to me even though I'm still in training at the moment. So I think that's kind of odd how they're giving me such a, I guess, big position per se. So that was that. As well as my other part-time job, I've also been getting days assigned for that, which has also been aligning with some of the days where we have podcasts, so we have to further postpone, which is not a good thing. And what was it? Just this yesterday, I was working at the Emmys, which was on a Monday where we were supposed to be having a podcast. So I apologize again for that, for postponement. But yeah, yesterday it was an entire day of working at the Emmys doing marshalling. So basically, what marshalling is basically setting up and working around the tables and such like that for like guests and like the media people, like the Fox and Katie Lay and all that, on all those people. And at the Emmys, I didn't get to meet, but I got to see Andrew Garfield and what was his name, Kenan Thompson, which was kind of pretty cool. I saw them with their security and stuff like that before they entered the main theater for the Emmy Awards at the Microsoft Theater, and I thought that was kind of cool seeing them in person. Obviously I didn't say hi or oh my god, it's Andrew Garfield, because I would have probably gotten fired for that. So that was that. It was pretty cool seeing them in person. It's kind of weird seeing celebrities in person rather than on screen, because to me it's just, I've never really fathomed just the idea of just seeing them in the flesh. But aside from that, yeah, I think things have been pretty busy. School as well. A lot of schoolwork. It's getting heavy on the majoring side of things because, now entering our junior year of uni, we have to pick our majors, and we have to basically, how would you say, be more center focused on the work that's meant to be done, and not do like general requirement classes, because those are like the easy classes. So that is that for the time being. What else? Yeah, and tomorrow, from tomorrow all the way to Saturday, I'm gonna be working at the crypto arena. However, it's gonna be Kendrick Lamar playing 4 straight days in a row. So from Wednesday through Saturday, it's gonna be pretty hectic hectic. And I just recently received an email from our boss saying that pre-order sales and overall ticket sales were straight through the roof for Kendrick. So it's gonna be pretty hectic. So yeah, from 4 to 12 at night, it's not gonna be easy for the time being. But we'll see what happens. It's probably not gonna be easy. It's probably gonna be hectic. And the same thing for Thursday. I'm gonna be working at my small part-time job and at the crypto arena, so it might be postponed. The next episode might be postponed until for Monday or God knows when, because I'm telling you, these events they're not gonna be easy, but they're gonna pay good. Yeah, just yesterday for the Emmys, I got paid I think $25 the hour for 8 hours. No tips though, unfortunately, but I mean $25 the hour. That's pretty crazy. What else? Also, one small little thing. I think what's a bit saddening is that for the entire year and a half that I've been working at my small part-time, the pizzeria job, I think in total of tips, I have only gotten, in the span of a year and a half, like around like $80, $90 in tips. However, just, it was last week I worked at the Rose Bowl, just under one day, in the span of just 8 hours, I got $208 in tips. In one day, compared to like around $90 in tips in the span of a year and a half. And I think that's a pretty crazy, I guess, retrospective in terms of I guess tipping and the way people are in terms of the positions and the jobs. But yeah, crazy stuff. How have you guys been?
Well, I definitely don't have anything to really match up with that hectic week, but I've been doing pretty well. There is something that happened, but we're gonna save that for a bit before we transition. But how about you, Joe? What were you up to in about the 2 weeks time that we were off essentially since Dom took his hiatus?
Let's see. Well, on the day after the first cancellation or postponement, I actually went to Mars and I met Elon Musk over there. So yeah. What do you think about that, Dominic? How does that be your Andrew Garfield meeting story?
Yeah, it does. I mean, wouldn't it take you like 14 years to get there?
Does it actually take that long?
Yeah, I think it takes like around 14 years.
He just went super fast.
Crazy.
You know?
Oh yeah, my bad.
He's built different.
It feels longer because we've been gone for so long. Anyways, for the 12 days that we haven't been doing stuff on the main podcast, mostly just going back and forth between looking for work and internships for, video editors and VFX artists. But it's kind of conflicting because you listen to podcasts or watch videos on YouTube and say, oh, you don't need to go to film school to get internships. You just have to be really good at your craft or above average and have your own, how do you say, your own niche in the industry to get picked. And then literally all of the internships were, you need to be either a junior or senior in college, or you need to be postgraduate. And I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? But because of that, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do academically, because it seems that people on the internet who say that you don't need a degree are just blowing smoke. So yeah, the last 12 days have been particularly stressful because of that. But I don't know, on the few days that we actually do podcast, it's kind of like a little break from that. So it's nice to be back.
Nice.
Yes, it is very nice to be back. It especially gave me time to really think up some more topics for us to discuss. our next episode is supposed to be another sort of like explaining wrestling thing, because as I remember talking to Dom when we were making the schedule, I was like, this is one that has been on there since the very beginning of this podcast, since like I don't know, obviously 2020, but I forget what month. Probably somewhere in the September-October range, so we're about to be 2 years from that. But yeah, we're somewhere in that range because as I explained to Dom, Mr. Solis and I were the ones to have brought it up, and we're like, oh yeah, let's that would be a funny one to show Dom and all that, and then it just kept getting postponed and postponed. But to get into sort of not necessarily today's topic, but kind of just something that happened in my time since we were gone from the podcast. Last week Friday, I believe it was, yes, my family and I went to Disneyland to celebrate my brother's birthday. His birthday was on the 6th, but we all went to Disneyland that Friday with a cousin of ours, or a couple cousins of ours, one of my tias who was visiting from Nebraska. And we got there, we wanted to leave around 6. We didn't leave till like 7, I want to say, I think. But we got there pretty early because we knew there was a lot we wanted to do, and a lot we wanted, just a lot of stuff that we wanted to go and see over there. And it's pretty cloudy to start off, and that should have been the signal for what was to come. But we enjoyed a lot of the rides, and I'll go into more detail on the rides. But the crazy part was, it was hot, but yet it started to rain, and it was probably one of the worst weather experiences I've ever had in my life, because it was hot, but it was raining at the same time, and you would think the rain would help, but no, it just caused things to get more and more humid and really sticky and disgusting. And it just wasn't the most enjoyable experience at all. Like, at one point my dad was telling me to put on like a sweater or something because it started raining pretty hard, and like I just didn't want to because it was so hot. And even when I put the jacket on, it was like I couldn't tell the difference between sweat and what was rain. But yeah, that was a pretty bad weather experience.
It's just like that week in general was really bad. It was 90, 95 plus degree weather, and then it just starts raining out of nowhere. Like, I've never experienced humidity like that. Like, that's like some, what's that place in Florida? Everglades?
Evergreen? I've never heard of that place.
Where they have like all the crocodiles and stuff, and it's like it's like a swamp basically in Florida, and like it's supposed to be like very humid, like unbelievably humid.
Oh, Everglades.
Yeah, it literally felt like that. Yeah, Everglades. I don't know, but I'm very happy that the weather's starting to chill, because a few more days would have killed me.
Yeah, dude, I was completely just sweating from the heat. Nothing was really helping over there, and it just was getting like so unbearable. Even in the places that like had AC, it was still pretty bad. But it wasn't enough to dwindle my experience there, because this was actually my first time going to Disneyland since 2015. I think the last time I went was 8th grade with Dominic, because of our music class went on a trip there in 8th grade. And that was Dom's first ever time going to Disneyland.
Yes, yeah.
And I think I've said it once before on this podcast, but I made sure Dom's first ever ride at Disneyland was It's a Small World, because I'm an evil person. And I told him, I kept hyping it. I'm like, hey man, you gotta watch out. There's this big old drop, and it's this scary ride. And then next thing you know, it's just these dolls singing that repetitive, annoying song. And Dom was just like, "What the heck is going on here?" And then we're like, oh, bro, here comes the drop, and it's just this tiny drop. And at the time, Dom literally had like no words. He didn't know what to say to all of that. It was a once in a lifetime experience, wasn't it, Dom?
It was a classic moment.
But
Cool.
some I don't know how much has changed. I know we didn't go to California Adventure, so I don't know what's changed over there. But you know, they obviously added a ton more of Star Wars stuff, and those were kind of the rides we were most excited for, especially my dad. There was it 3 Star Wars? Yeah, there was 3 Star Wars rides that we went on. What else did we go on? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. We went on Pirates of the Caribbean. We went on the Haunted House. You remember the Haunted House, Tom?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We went on that one, and it was because it's heading towards October. It was the special Nightmare Before Christmas edition of it. So instead of being the classic haunted house stuff, you see characters like Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie in there. We went on.
Cool.
We went on Indiana Jones. We went. What the heck else did we go on? There was a 3 Star Wars ride, which was Rise of the Resistance, the Millennium Falcon, Star Tours. We did the Buzz Lightyear one, and the final one we went on before we left, because we ended up leaving around, I want to say 8 or 9 o'clock. I can't remember exactly, but you know, at that point the rain was just getting too much, and we were just tired of, you know, being soaked but also completely hot in the rain. So we originally were gonna leave, but then when we tried to go on this other ride, they kind of shut it down, and so they gave us free fast passes as like a way to make up for it. We were like, you know what, let's just go on one final ride. Let's go on Space Mountain, and we went on that for the final ride since we had the fast pass. And for obviously my friends and family who follow me on Instagram, they saw the quite hilarious photo that occurred on Space Mountain with my 3 cousins, my brother, and I, where they obviously take a picture at the end of the ride, and that ride goes like pretty fast and it spins, and you know, I had to take off my hat, my glasses, because I didn't want anything going flying. And also the ride is like, it's dark, but then also I don't have my glasses on, so I can barely see without it anyway. So all I was seeing was pitch dark as we're swirling and swerving around in that ride. And it was just so funny to see that photo at the end where you just see everyone's like the only person who's ready is my cousin all the way in the back. Everyone else is just completely caught off guard. And the funniest part is that you just have my brother there who looks like, in the way my brother described it, he looks like he's drunk, you know, giving some deep personal talk, but he also looks like he's in the middle of just singing a song at the same time. It's hard to describe with words, but that was probably one of the funniest experiences, as well as on one of the rides of the Star Wars ones, Darth Vader shows up and he's like, oh, you have a what would you call it? I forget the exact word, but he's like, you know, he's like, oh, you have someone on your ship. And they also caught my brother lacking on that ride too. So it was just a fun experience overall. But you know, as I mentioned, you know, that it was such a long time since I'd been there. I wanted to know, how long is it since you guys have been to any amusement park at all, whether it be Universal, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags, whatever it may be.
Oof. I don't think I've ever gone to any. Yeah, I think the last time I've gone to an amusement park, I think it might have. I'm trying to remember. Because I think I went to Disneyland a second time, but I'm not sure if I confused Disneyland with Knott's Berry Farm. Because I think I went to Knott's Berry Farm, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago. And I think ever since I've never been to an amusement park ever since. And my parents and I have been thinking of going to Disney World. Or Disneyland, my bad, for another time, like, as together as a family, but we're looking at the price, and it's like, what, $100 a ticket? Total, like, $400. Yeah,
it is expensive.
It is expensive. Then along that, but that's just for the ticket, and then you gotta buy food and drinks and stuff like that, and food over there, and you can't bring any food unless it's, like, water. and it's just whoosh, whoosh. I don't know about that. Prices do get pretty bad. We want to buy merchandise and stuff like that, but we're kind of a bit of on a tight budget at the moment with other things and such as that. So maybe in the future, maybe in the future, because I don't think as much as I want to go, and as much as I technically can just go buy ourselves 4 tickets, it might be a little bit difficult to I guess to make it up afterwards, per se. But aside from that, I would love to go again, and it has been a while. I think around 4 or 5 years ago. I think pretty much half a decade now that I've ever been to it. Ever since I've been to an amusement park. But yeah. How about you, Jay? When was the last time you've gone?
I've never actually gone to an amusement park before. I remember one time when I was like 5th grade, maybe. My parents wanted to take us to Disneyland. I think it's in Anaheim or somewhere around there. But for some reason we couldn't find the entrance to the thing, so we just went home. That was like the closest I've ever gotten.
Damn.
But I don't know. My family's not the type to go to amusement parks. They do like other stuff.
I definitely.
It's mostly because of.
We continue.
No, I was gonna say it's mostly because of my mom. She doesn't like that stuff. She gets scared easily, so.
I can definitely relate to that. This is the first time I've ever gone to an amusement park without having any, how would you describe it? I guess underlying anxiety in a way, I've always never been one to do amusement parks, and especially roller coasters, because it just always gets the worst of me, but I have grown over the years. I've healed, if you want to say in a way, and it was just a fun experience. But I'm also trying to remember if Dom and I ever went to Knott's Berry Farm together, because I feel like we did, but I can't remember for sure. It may have happened once, but I can't say for sure.
I think.
Because if we did sometime during high school, that probably would have been the last time I went to an amusement park. Obviously, there was the grad night stuff, but COVID put a stop to that, obviously, so we didn't get that experience. But I don't know. To me, I didn't care too much, but who knows? I know a lot of other people were excited. So, but one final sort of thing I wanted to bring up, in a sense, if there's no more to be said about amusement parks, I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on something in relation to the gaming world. I don't know.
The gaming world?
Yeah, the gaming world. I don't know if any of you have kept up, but obviously the news broke, I forgot how long ago, but it broke that Overwatch 2 would be free to play, meaning they weren't going to charge money for it. Everyone would be able to get it. But, obviously, if any game's free, they have to have a way to make money off of it. And that's when we learned they would be doing away with the loot box system, and in turn kind of go towards the way Apex, Fortnite, Call of Duty sort of does things, in the sense of bringing in and implementing a battle pass, implementing currency, and that currency is the way you are able to earn cosmetics other than through the battle pass. And I don't know, there's no one knows yet if there's a way to earn that currency in game, like how Fortnite has it, where if you get the battle pass, you earn currency through the battle pass, or if it's like Apex, where you earn the currency or a certain form of the currency that can be used to buy cosmetics by just leveling up and playing the game. But it was a unique way, and many people kind of saw it as an upgrade over the loot box system, because at least in this way, you're not having to gamble with the fact of buying loot boxes and hoping you get the items, but now you can just buy them. But the main thing I want to talk about, obviously I want to hear your guys' opinion on the whole battle pass system, but the recent thing that has sparked controversy is that in the like a bunch of stuff ended up getting leaked from Overwatch 2. It's set to release next month, October 4th, I believe. But a bunch of things got leaked. One of which was the actual like one of the heroes. But with the hero getting leaked, was the information learned that Overwatch 2 may actually have you needing either to buy the battle pass or through the currency, or like to put it simply, either through the battle pass or on its own. The only way you can unlock the new heroes that are implemented into the game is again through buying the battle pass, which gives you instant access, or buying the character itself, meaning for like it's similar in a way to Apex, where it's like if you want to use the character and you don't like if they have a system where you can earn the currency in game, if you don't want to spend your time grinding the game or using the battle pass or buying the battle pass to unlock it, you have to essentially spend however much they want you to spend on a hero. So let's say by the standard $10, let's say. So anytime a new hero comes out, you either buy the battle pass or you buy the character on its own. And people kind of were taken back by this, and it was very controversial in the sense that people were angry at this because they were like, Overwatch is a game that's built around character switching and meta, ever-changing metas based on what characters have been buffed or nerfed. And whenever a new character comes out, people are always trying to play it, and it gets implemented into the meta. And if a character is really broken, then it really becomes like whoever's using that character on their team, in a sense, wins the game if that's how broken they are. And people are like, the fact that you're locking it behind a paywall now means that, like, imagine if no one on your team has that character unlocked, and now you're just getting whooped in the game because there's no way to counteract this character with the base characters, in a sense. But what are your guys' kind of thoughts on this whole situation?
I feel like, I don't know, it's because microtransactions have been a thing for a long time now in video games, so it's kind of understandable that they kind of decided to go for a different form of that. But the whole, I don't know, it kind of makes sense because they're giving you a game for free, and if you want more of the content from the game, you have to buy it using some form of currency. I don't know, it seems fair, but it also, like, depending on how they do it, because it's definitely going to have like in-game currency that you could get through leveling or whatever, that you could use to buy the characters. Otherwise it just doesn't, it would get like huge backlash on that, because literally every game has a form of that. Apex has it, Fortnite has it, even Dead by Daylight has it. Depending on how long you have to grind to get enough might trigger some people too. Because in Apex it's pretty easy, you level up really fast in that game. But then like in Dead by Daylight, which I've been playing a lot recently, it takes like 50 levels just to get enough for one character. And I don't know, it really depends on how much grinding is necessary in order to have enough of the character. Because if it's like very easy like in Apex, then I feel like they're going in the right direction, and people are gonna love the game, or they're gonna love that aspect of the game. The game itself is going to be determined by the gameplay and stuff. But if it takes like a longer time, then I guess they're going to get a little bit of hate for it. But people just need to be cautious about saving up for the next release, etc. That's how I feel.
Interesting.
How about you?
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I think what Overwatch is trying to do, Overwatch 2 is trying to do, is like a 2-step forward, 1 step back sort of approach, in which they introduced the game for free, and they're introducing this battle pass where, it, I guess, attracts the player more to like pay for a battle pass, but then to stay in further just so they could grind out, for skins, currency to open loot boxes and such as that. However, the 1 step back is that introducing characters is a really, really bad idea because it's the heroes that are the main, aspect of the game. It's who you choose before you begin a game. And if let's say it's like a battle pass that's 100 levels long, and if you buy it, you only get like a 15 level head start. As some games do. You're still gonna have to grind your ass off. And my apologies for my wording, but you have to grind a lot. And I'm assuming, Overwatch is not much of an easy game if you're not good at it. It's an FPS, and sometimes it can get pretty hectic. So having to grind out, like let's say you get, even if buying the battle pass, you have to spend spend time to get to 85 levels, just to to get a grinded character, which could be overpowered, may not be overpowered. Something that might be worth it, may not be worth it. What's gonna be bad is if the people who pay for the battle pass get that head start, or automatically get that character, and that the hero might be overpowered. There might be like a meta tied to the character, or maybe it's just the hero themselves that is super easy to use, super easy to defeat other people with. I think that's going to be the factor in which people may or may not dislike a sort of battle pass system with Overwatch. I mean, this is all allegedly at the end of the day because these are just leaks and rumors. But I mean, if it is at the end of the day a true thing that's going to happen with Overwatch, I just hope they play out their cards right and not tie heroes to a battle pass, because I don't have a good feeling about that, because I'm pretty sure for other games, I think let's say for example Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, they tied some of their weapons to the battle pass, and I think I remember there was an overpowered weapon. I think 15 levels in, people who bought the battle pass got the weapon instantly for free. People then had to grind that out, but the weapon itself was overpowered because it was really good at defeating other players. So I just hope it's not the same instance in this situation with Overwatch, where this one hero is super overpowered, and easily accessible to those who pay the money, compared to those who just want to just play, have fun, without getting destroyed because the other person paid money. I just don't want that to happen. For purely all cosmetics, I'm all down. I'm all down for your currency bonuses, cosmetics, weapon cosmetics, and all, and emotes, sprays, voice lines. I'm all down for that. But locking in heroes, I just they're gonna have to play their cards right with this one.
Yeah, and I am a bit iffy on the cosmetics just because I've seen what happens with Fortnite, but in the same way, it's in the sense of it's a better way than gambling in loot boxes, instead of paying $50 to get 100 loot boxes and you don't get the skin you want, and in turn just being able to pay $10 to get the skin you want. That's obviously a better alternative. It just may lead to a lot more people spending more money, but again, that comes down to the individual player on how much money they want to spend. But the part that kind of worries me the most in a way is that there's a YouTuber I watch to keep up with the Overwatch content and news, as the game's kind of fallen off in my eyes. It's not as enjoyable to play the original one, obviously, but I've also followed him to keep up with the news on what happens with Overwatch 2. Let me get some opinions on how it is. Let me kind of gauge how the gameplay is going to be. Hopefully it's more enjoyable, because I've been needing a new game to play with friends and stuff like that. And the part that gets me is he was talking about this change, and he was kind of speaking how Dom and I are kind of just we're iffy on this idea that you have to pay for characters because of how centric Overwatch is with character switching. Overwatch is a game that's built around the fact that mid-game, if they switch to a different character, you make switches accordingly. You're constantly having to adapt to whatever team build the other team is running, and so it's they were it just doesn't make sense to implement this, especially if a certain character is overpowered. It gives one team an unfair advantage over the other if no one on the other team has that character, and it almost is in a way to force people to have to buy the character. And the one thing I brought up to my friend group was like, imagine if you spend $10 on a character and you don't even like the character, or you don't like you don't end up using them because other people are constantly using that character, in a way. And obviously, like, I think the way to counteract that is like trials, like, my dad brought up like a Smite in a way had those time periods where you could try out characters for free, and then if you ended up liking them, you can go on and buy the character if you wanted. But like, getting back to my input, the main worry I have here is that he was like, oh well, maybe the Overwatch community in a way can pull what the Sonic community did, where, you remember, Dom, the original Sonic movie had that terrible looking animation, and the studio basically got bullied into changing the style, which they ended up doing. He was like, oh, maybe the Overwatch community can do something similar like that, where if they show enough like outrage against this, they'll change this idea for paying for singular characters. And that's the part that kind of makes me sad, is that he brought that up, but from all accounts, from what I've seen, no one else is really talking about it to the level that would cause change. And it just kind of makes me worry that there's somewhat, like, similar to how we talked about with music, so much time has passed between the original announcement of Overwatch 2 and the time it's finally going to drop, that a lot of people have become either disinterested or haven't kept up. And when this game drops, when people see this new style implemented into the game, it's gonna put them off. It's gonna make them not want to play it, and it's essentially gonna kill the game off right at launch. Because so many people who haven't been keeping up are gonna instantly be hit right in the face with this and be like, "What is this? I don't like this style. That oh, I have to pay for characters now if I want to use them in game." And it's like, even though the game's free, so many people are going to be thrown off by that, and it's just going to kind of kill whatever growth the game would hope to see from the start, and that's kind of like the most worrying part to me.
Wait, but wasn't like in the original Overwatch when like a new character was when a new character was announced, didn't you have to buy like the DLC for it or something?
No,
or was it just like free to use from the start?
Free to use from the start. The only game that I can think of is similar to what Overwatch may be going for, and Dom, I think you might agree, is Rainbow, where when a new operator drops, you either can unlock it through the in-game currency, or if you want early access to the character, you buy the battle pass and instantly unlock it. And now that I bring that up, that is probably exactly the way they're going to go forward with the Overwatch 2. The battle pass gives you instant access, and then it opens up for non-battle pass users a week or two later, but then it's like you still have to use currency in a way to buy it. And I don't know, like that's just kind of a change that I feel is going unnoticed in a way, and I don't know how positively or negatively that can impact the game's future,
Right.
I feel like it won't be that bad, because I don't know how typically games do it. It's like, well, a battle pass goes for 3-4 months, and if I don't know, it seems kind of like it seems kind of ridiculous for a game like Overwatch to every 3-4 months release another character. Because then it's just going to be like League. They're going to have a lot of legends that nobody uses and just taking no space. So I feel like they're going to find a way to introduce characters, but not very frequently.
I think the only issue there, and Dom can definitely attest to this through the years of playing, is that I think the only reason they ever released characters so quickly was because of how much people kind of ended up getting bored in a sense with the game. Like, they didn't release them too frequently. Like, they put at least anywhere between 3 and maybe 6 months between character releases. But like, the one thing people would be like is like, oh, we're just playing the same thing over and over. And even though there was special event and game modes, after year 2, people were like, hey, we've played these already, can we get new game modes or new characters? And Overwatch was like, oh, we're working on Overwatch 2, so we're not going to be really updating stuff, only dropping new characters occasionally. And I think that's why they probably went with the battle pass, and why they're probably going to implement stuff like, challenges, so that, even if people kind of get bored of playing Overwatch because they have the battle pass and challenges to complete, it's going to be enough to keep people playing, because how many times have we seen any game now, they implement daily challenges, weekly challenges, and despite being bored of the game, people are still playing the game over and over, or logging on daily just to do their challenges. How do you
Wait,
feel?
isn't Overwatch 2 gonna have like a PvE mode too?
I don't know if that's going to be an expansion, though, in the sense of, like, there's the story mode, and they're going to drop DLC or add in, updates that continually update the PvE, but, I don't know, there's a lot that, if you want to, like, put it in a phrase, it's like, there's a lot that we're being left in the dark about, in a sense, when it comes to Overwatch 2. Like, there's so much that we don't know.
See, Jack, would you be, I guess, let's say Overwatch 2 comes out, Battle Pass, it comes along with the game. However, let's say the new hero is also tied with, instantly, straight off the bat, you buy the Battle Pass, you get the hero. Would you do it? Or would you just wait until reviews come by and stuff like that? Or would you rather just straight off, just right off the bat buy it? Or would you not, in the first place?
I think similar to like Fortnite with their battle pass system, I'd likely end up getting the battle pass if I see enough content that I like in it, like enough skins, enough emotes that I'd be like, yeah, I'd get that. But at the same time, I mean, obviously if I buy the battle pass, I get the character, but if there's a way to get the character on its own through separate currencies, whatever, I think I would take the approach of just waiting. Like, let's say I don't see stuff in the battle pass I'd really wait on it, see reviews, and see gameplay of the character itself. And even then, even if I see it at the moment, I don't think I'd straight away buy it, Like,
right.
When I think back to playing Rainbow, so many times did I not buy characters straight away. Or in Apex. In Apex, I've only ever bought in, I want to say like two legends in the years that it's been out all this time. And, I know it can be accredited to me not playing the game as much, but like at the same time, it's like I've seen certain legends, I'm like, oh, that seems like an interesting character to play, but at the same time, there's never been enough to entice me to want to go out and spend either my own money or really spend time grinding a game a lot just to get enough to unlock a certain legend, or a certain character, hero, operator, And I guess it's something that we'll just have to wait and see when it launches to see just how much, like, just to see what it actually is like and how much people, in a sense, enjoy it or are against it,
Right.
It's definitely going to be one of the more interesting drops that I honestly can't wait to cover, because not only would I want to cover the game, but I'm excited to cover, the outcome, if you want to give a word to it. I can't think of a better word,
Does that mean we're gonna play together?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll play all together and give a big overview on what our first thoughts are on the game, But until then, and until the next time we see you all, because of scheduling conflicts we will never know, I want to thank you all for joining for this episode of the Rule 34 podcast. I've been your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co-hosts,
Dominic Castillo.
Dominic Castillo.
I want to thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Rule 34 podcast, Season 3. And until next time, remember, if it exists, we have an opinion on it. Thank you, and we will catch y'all in the next episode.